What's up, YouTube? BK with BK Gaming 9000 here. It is Friday. You know what that means. We have the Division Vendor Reset video coming for you. Remember, if you guys enjoyed this video, please smack that like button, subscribe for more videos in the future, and let's go ahead and get started. Special equipment vendor here in the base of operations in the terminal. We're going to skip the ones that we already know are there. We have the first wave X45 with expert and destructive. I actually dig that because I do a lot of PvE, so destructive definitely fits in there. We have the first wave Vector 45 ACP with fierce, swift, and brutal. That's actually not that bad of a roll. I would probably re-roll fierce for something a little bit more, but you know what they did with the Vector, it's honestly not that great. We have the LVOAC with vicious, deadly, and destructive. I actually would probably pick that sucker up. That's a good gun in general, but with those rolls, I mean, the only one that I can honestly think of re-rolling would be vicious. Because, you know, deadly with the crit hit chance and destructive, it would just melt people. Next, we have the Super 90 with commanding, unforgiving, and dominant. We have the classic M44 carbine with sustained, talented, and competent. We have the military L86 LSW with competent, unforgiving, and accurate. Moving on to the gear, we have the Spec Ops mask geared towards electronics with rejuvenated. Consuming a med kit also removes all negative status effects. We have Striker's mask, which is geared towards stamina, which is always good. We have the Final Measure mask, which is geared towards firearms. We have the Predator's Mark mask, which is geared towards firearms. And then we also have the Fire Crest, which is also geared towards firearms. And I actually might be taking a look at this one because I am going for a Fire Crest / Alpha Bridge build. Next we have the Gunslinger vest with Robust. It is an electronics roll, be aware of that. We have the Tactician's Authority vest, which is a stamina roll. A Lone Star vest, which is also a stamina roll. A D3 FNC vest, which is also a stamina roll. We have the Operator pack with Relentless, which is a stamina roll as well, with 5% of the damage dealt by skills is returned as healing, which is actually pretty decent. I actually like that little ability there. We have a Sentry's Call backpack, which is rolled towards firearms. A Deadeye Go bag, which is rolled towards electronics. A Banshee backpack, which is rolled towards stamina. Moving on to the knee pads, we have the tactical pads with Accomplish. Rewards from accolades are tripled, rolled towards stamina. This is actually a good piece if you're farming those specific high-end pieces. This is something that can help you along the way. We have the Hunter's Faith knee pads here, rolled towards stamina. We have the Spec Ops holster, which is actually a pretty decent roll overall, which damage taken during cover-to-cover is regenerated over 5 seconds when reaching the destination. I wish it was a different talent, but we can't win them all. Next, we have some Astute gloves, which is rolled towards stamina. Everybody knows how I feel about Astute. Don't really see the point of it. Gloves of the Nomad, rolled towards firearms. We have the Reclaimer gloves, which are also rolled towards firearms. And we have the Alpha Bridge gloves, which are rolled towards stamina. I would probably re-roll the shotgun damage on this one to try to get something different with it if I was going to keep it. So moving on to the mods, we have the Prototypes Firearms mod, which is pretty decent. It also has an extra 1,793 health. We have the Prototypes Performance mod, which gives you 5% first aid self-heal. We have the Heavy Magazine Spring, which pretty decent there. It's got 10% magazine size. We have the Large Suppressor, which has a lot of crit hit damage, crit hit chance, stability, and reduced threat. That's actually a pretty decent roll right there. We have the Vertical Grip Wolf Gray, which is also a pretty decent roll for those auto rifles. And then we have the small RDS scope, which isn't that bad as well. So lots to think of here in the special equipment vendor. Let's go ahead and move upstairs. Alright, now that we're upstairs, let's go ahead and see what the advanced weaponry vendor has for us today. So skipping all the ones that we normally know, he's got the P x 4 Storm Type F, with expert and intense. He's got the tactical vector 45 ACP with unforgiving, self-preserved, and dominant. He's got the lightweight M4 with skilled, predatory, and capable. He has the SASG-12 with trained, adept, and sustained. And he has the surplus SVD with commanding, predatory, and disciplined. For the light machine gun, he's got the military MK46 with meticulous, determined, and deadly. For the mods, he's got a quick release magazine. I'd probably pass on that one. He's got the Omega rifle suppressor. It's pretty decent if you're into the headshot damage and all that good stuff that you're looking for. He's got the PEQ 15 laser green. And then he's also got the 5.52 hollow sight tan, which I wouldn't pick that up. So moving on over here, everybody knows I like to go over to these front house vendors and check out and see what they have for us, starting with the DZ guy. He's got the police M4 with swift, competent, and brutal. This guy will have some decent stuff once in a while. He's got the Spec Ops mask, tenacious, rolled towards firearms. He's got the prototype stamina mod right here. So if you're looking for that stamina mod, this might be a good place to grab it because it looks pretty decent. He's got the large suppressor, and then of course he's got the Dark Zone sealed cache. That one was everybody was telling me to go do that one, so I'm doing that one. So now the weapons vendor, we go down here. He's got the classic RPK-74 with unforgiving, capable, and accurate. And then we also have the gear vendor, which has the tactical pads with accomplished, rolled towards electronics. He's also got a stamina mod right here with the major attribute being 1% critical hit chance. And then he's got the base sealed cache there. So let's move on to the Dark Zone. Okay, now that we're in DZ02, let's go ahead and see what the gear vendor has for us today. First off, they have the tactical mask with rejuvenated. This one is rolled towards electronics, so I would probably pass on that. They got the gunslinger vest with robust, which is always nice, but it is rolled towards electronics, so if you want to re-roll anything, I would probably re-roll it towards stamina. They got the operator pack with technical, increased skill power by 15% while the signature skill is active with electronics, so that would be perfect if you are running electronics, but I don't, so that's not fitting my build. We have the Spec Ops pad with Prosperous with headshot kills grant credits geared towards firearms. We have the operator holster with recovered. It's pretty decent, but again, it's recovered, so as long as you're in cover to cover, this would be perfect, but if not, then I would probably move on. And then we have the operator gloves with decisive headshots with the sidearm, deal 35% more damage, rolled towards stamina. This is actually pretty decent. But then again, you're going to have to be relying on your sidearm rather than your primaries, which is no bueno. So let's go ahead and roll on over to DZ03. Let's go ahead and see what the weapons vendor has for us today. So scrolling down the normal list, we have the tactical M1911 with expert and responsive. We have the coverted SMG 9A2 with adept, commanding, and fierce. We have the tactical MK16 with talented, swift, and meticulous. We have the double-barreled sawed-off with responsive, commanding, and meticulous. We have the police MK17 with cool-headed, accurate, and competent. And then we have the military M60 E4 with self-preserve, sustained, and deadly. That's probably the best one out of the whole bunch. The rest of them I would pass on. So let's go ahead and jump on over to DZ04. Now that we're here in DZ04, let's go ahead and see what the gear mod vendor has for us today. So right off the bat, they got the prototype electronics mod. So if you're looking for electronics, go ahead and grab it here if you're interested. Again, I'm not rolling skill power. I'm more of a toughness and primary DPS type person. And then we have the prototype performance mod, which has 7% ballistic shield health. That is actually pretty decent if you roll that little skill build there. So let's go ahead and move on to DZ05. Alright agents, so we're here in DZ05. Let's see what the weapon mod vendor has for us today. So he's got the high velocity magazine with crit hit chance, crit hit damage, and reload speed. That's actually pretty good. So I would think about that. I still like my ammo capacity, but that's pretty decent for the high velocity magazine. He's got the compensator with stability, critical hit damage, and headshot damage. It's also not too bad, but it's not the greatest thing in the world. He's also selling a hand stop foliage green with reload speed, stability, and optimal range, and a holographic sight, which I would pass on the last two. So let's move on over to DZ06. Okay guys, so we're here in DZ06. Let's go ahead and see what the special vendor has for us today. Hopefully some Alpha Bridge stuff. Oh, what do we know? We got some chest piece and a backpack. We got the Striker's mask here rolled towards electronics. We have the Alpha Bridge chest piece, which has armor, protection from elites, and ammo capacity, which I probably will go ahead and try to raise some money for this. I got a long way to go, but you know, grinding this will be worth it. And then we got the Alpha Bridge rucksack here, rolled towards electronics. I would probably roll that to a different one with critical hit damage and disrupt resistance. We have the Hunter's Faith knee pads with critical hit damage, increased kill XP, disrupt resistance, and disorient resistance, rolled towards stamina. We had the Banshee Shadow holster. It's an okay roll. The highest is the firearms, but pretty decent roll overall with extra armor. And then we have the Reclaimer gloves here, rolled towards firearms with health on kill, LMG damage, and damage to elites. I would probably re-roll the LMG damage, but then again, if you roll LMGs all the time, then you know, that actually might work in your favor. But I probably would end up re-rolling the firearms of this to stamina so that your toughness doesn't go down. So that'll do it for today in the vendor reset. If you guys like this video, please smack that like button, subscribe for more, and I will catch you guys in that next one. Peace.